Paul Salmon here again. I was at Perryville, Missouri. They had a little fly-in there and a pretty good turnout. We were all standing around on the ramps. Toward the end of the day, planes were leaving out, and as luck would have it, a gentleman came in on approach the wrong way on the runway. Winds were pretty stiff. They were blowing about 15 to 20, gusting probably to about 25, and nearly straight down the runway. And they were out of about 230, and the airport there has runways 2 and 20. So I'll show you this video of this landing going the wrong way down the runway. You'll notice that the airplane is about halfway down the runway before he ever gets the wheels down, and then decides to do a go around and uses up most of the remainder of the runway. So we'll take a look at that real quick.
Yeah, that might hold 5. That's fine. That might hold 15 maybe.
It took off.
He couldn't stop.
Well, the telltale sign is he comes back in and walks right back.
He ain't climbing very well, I know that.
Yeah.
And showed there he is. So that's what you call a downwind landing, and then a landing to takeoff. So you do one bad thing and then add a second one to it.
Did he get fuel?
Okay, so several things to discuss here on this one. You know, if you're in an airplane or you're in a helicopter and you're coming in for a landing and you are eating up way more runway than you ought to, it should click upstairs somewhere that, hey, maybe this is not the correct way to be landing, all right? You know, it's often said that there's no new accidents. It's just that people make the same mistakes framed in a different scenario, and that's very true. So if you stick with the basics, such as landing into the wind, whether you're an airplane or a helicopter, it's going to go a whole lot better. So this guy, like I say, this is a 7,000 foot runway, and he was past the halfway mark before the wheels ever got on the ground, and then he decided to go around. All right, a go around should be, the decision to do a go around needs to be made early on. All right, so you want to recognize that there's a problem, something about this approach doesn't feel right, whatever. Go around. All right, going around is a sign of strength, not weakness. All right, but you got to make the decision in a timely fashion. Go around, take another look at the situation, see if you indeed were landing into the wind or downwind or whatever, and make the appropriate corrections. Interestingly enough, this guy came in and landed. There had been another airplane that just departed not more than just a few minutes prior to that. So you want to talk about a sickening feeling, just come in on landing the wrong way on the runway, and as you touch the wheels down, you look up and there's another airplane departing straight at you, the opposite direction on the same runway. That can end in an absolute disaster. So again, to just remind everybody, you know, stick to the basics, land into the wind. In helicopters, you know, you make a downwind landing, you run the risk of getting into good old settling with power or vortex ring state, whichever one you like to call it. And again, that can end in a catastrophe. So everybody get back to the basics, land into the wind. Okay, so for you helicopter pilots and helicopter students out there, have you ever stopped to realize that if you land into the wind, you have nearly, almost eliminated the chances of you getting into settling with power or good old vortex ring state? If you're landing into the wind, even with a relatively light wind, 8 to 10 knots, and you're showing movement across the ground, that helicopter is still moving at, say, 10 knots across the ground, you have enough forward airspeed going across that rotor disc to pretty much eliminate the chance of you getting into settling with power. And the more wind, the better. All right. So again, it's back to the basics. You got to land into the wind. All right. So I hope this was helpful, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.